Hill. I'm the pastor at First Baptist Church in Fairburn, Georgia. My family is my priority. My wife is Christy. We've been married for 15 years this past December. We met on the very first day of fall classes in our very first class at Southeastern Seminary up in Raleigh, North Carolina. I saw her during orientation, knew I wanted to meet her, and as God's favor shone upon me, she was in my 7:30 a.m. Old Testament class. So I knew exactly how to make my inroad with her through classes. And it took a little while. It was about a year later, I finally got her to date me, and we were married about a year after that. And we have 3 children. Our children are 11, 9, and 5. My 2 boys, the oldest and the youngest, they are big into baseball. Baseball's ramping up at our house, and they are excited about their teams. We're going to get the calls from the coaches tonight to find out who the other players on their team are going to be. I got roped into being the assistant coach for each of my boys this spring. So I don't know how that's going to work yet with a 12U and a 6U schedule to balance, but we're going to do it somehow. My daughter is 9 years old. She is the princess of the house. She rules the roost, but she loves to dance. She is involved at Star Dance in Noonan, Georgia. She's on their competition team. She is doing her first solo this year, and she is excited beyond measure about the opportunities that are in front of her. So my wife works at First Baptist Noonan Preschool. She also teaches our kids. We're a homeschool family. She tutors in our homeschool community, and she works at the dance studio where Addison dances. So how she keeps all of us in line, I have no clue, but she does an amazing job with that, and we are all better for it. I grew up in the church. My family operated on the whole principle of if you were breathing, you were at church. You would feel bad, and my dad would say, throw up and prove it. And if you couldn't throw up, you went to church. If you could throw up, my dad would look at you and say, well, don't you feel better? Let's go on to church and worship Jesus. We were there Sunday morning for Sunday school and worship. We were there for Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. We were there for Wednesday night. But because of that, I grew up not knowing a whole lot of difference between what it meant to be a Christian, what it meant not to be a Christian. It wasn't that I was perfect. I was far from perfect. I was quite the mischievous child. I stayed in a lot of trouble in all the circles. As a matter of fact, my elementary school assistant principal had a desk in the storage closet of her office that she called Evan's desk because I sat in it quite often. But when I was in first grade, we had a revivalist come to our church, and he preached one of those old-fashioned everybody's going to hell sermons, and I was scared. So I ran down the aisle crying because I didn't want to go to hell. But I didn't really make a decision for Jesus. It wasn't until the summer of 1997, we were on a youth trip. Was very involved in our student ministry. I was not walking with the Lord because I didn't really know what it meant to walk with the Lord. And it dawned on me as we were driving up Interstate 85 through Greenville, South Carolina, that if that church bus had an accident and I died, that I would be in hell. I'd never been saved. And that night I gave my life to Christ. That was 26 years ago almost. And it hasn't been a perfect road. It hasn't been an easy road. And there have been many, many mistakes along the way. But the grace of God has always and consistently found me, because that's the kind of God that we serve. A lot of opportunity in front of us. When we look across the city of Fairburn, we see people from so many different backgrounds, so many different stories. Every face, every name is a different story and a different encounter that we get to make. In our church, we are fortunate that we have people from 14 different nations that gather each and every Sunday right here in this room or in our fellowship hall with our Hispanic ministry to praise the name of Jesus. We have a food pantry that every Tuesday and Thursday is open to meet the needs of people with food insecurity in and around Fairburn and Union City. Every week, we have about 80 families that we're able to assist. every month we are able to carry a load of food over to Campbell Elementary School right here in Fairburn, where 74 children are able to take home food each weekend because of what our people provide. It's not me, it's not anything except for God's work through us as we are making inroads into our local school and helping people with real felt needs where they are. As a pastor, a lot of times there is a tension when it comes to schedule and time. There is often the pull of, I need to be there for this, but I want to be there for that. And we can't be everywhere that we can. Specifically for us is finding that adequate and accurate balance for our family with serving, with ministering to one another, and enjoying the engagements that we have together in the church and out of the church. A big prayer for me personally would that I would find more effective and intentional means to be the communicator in my home and in my church community the way that I need to be. I know it's a lot of times easy to see, well, you communicate all the time. You're teaching a Bible study, you're preaching a sermon, and we look at that broad communication, but it's the fine points of communication that really make the difference. So specifically, that's an area where our city, our community could be in prayer for me and my family. So a big prayer for us would be that we see the people around us as image bearers of God who need to be reconnected to that God and move away from the metrics, move away from all the statistics, and get right into how can we show you the gospel that changes your life. We're situated at the very end of Main Street in Fairburn, the Main Street District. Fairburn doesn't have a technical main street the way some cities do. But we're on one end as an anchor. And we believe that God has placed us here for you, for your family, for the city of Fairburn. As we seek to make inroads into lives and into families, what we want is to find out how we can get to you, how we can find you where you are, how we can walk alongside of you in the road that you are walking right now. We are here for the city of Fairburn because Jesus sent us here to love you, to love this city, and to be an anchor of the gospel right here.